When 90 Day Fiancé fans first met David Toborowski and Annie Suan on Season 5 of the hit reality series, few would have guessed they'd become one of the franchise's most beloved and resilient couples. He was a middle-aged divorcee from Kentucky, recovering from bankruptcy and heartbreak. She was a spirited young woman from Thailand, full of charm, wit, and unshakable confidence. Against the odds, and plenty of raised eyebrows, they fell in love, tied the knot, and proved that age really is just a number. But nothing prepared them for the emotional rollercoaster they experienced this year: the joy of finally becoming parents, the terror of a baby's sudden illness, and the surprising lessons they learned from a one-week hospital stay that could shape the rest of their lives. A dream years in the making. For years, fans watched as Annie and David navigated life as a child-free couple, focusing instead on travel, cooking videos, and building a business together. But in 2023, Annie opened up to her followers on Instagram, sharing her private struggle with fertility. "It's not easy," she wrote in a heartfelt post. "I want to be a mom so bad, but it feels like it's not happening for me yet." Her honesty resonated with many women who faced similar challenges. Instead of giving up, she and David decided to explore in vitro fertilization, IVF, a journey they documented in bits and pieces online. Finally, in July 2024, Annie announced to her millions of followers what she called her biggest blessing yet: she was pregnant. The couple also revealed a bold decision: they were moving to Thailand for the birth of their baby. David explained it wasn't just about Annie being close to her family during such an important time, but also a strategic choice. "We wanted Mintira to have dual citizenship," he shared in one video. "And honestly, the cost and quality of healthcare here are better than you'd think." For Annie, it was also a way to reconnect with her roots. She gushed about showing David the bustling Bangkok streets where she grew up, the colorful markets, and the quiet temples she visited as a girl. "Thailand is home," she said simply. Welcoming baby Mintira. On a humid March morning in 2025, Annie gave birth to a healthy baby girl. They named her Mintira, a Thai name meaning sweet and gentle, and she was every bit as adorable as her name suggested. David could barely contain his tears when he held his daughter for the first time, posting a video with the caption, "She already has me wrapped around her little finger." For months, life seemed like a dream come true. Fans delighted in Annie's cheerful updates about motherhood, late-night feedings, adorable baby outfits, and even a few humorous mishaps with diaper changes. David posted daily photos of father-daughter snuggles and cheeky captions about being outnumbered by his two favorite girls. A terrifying turn. But in July, just as they were settling into a rhythm, their lives took a scary turn. One evening, Annie noticed that Mintira seemed unusually tired and was struggling to eat. Her cries were weaker than usual, and her breathing sounded raspy. Panic set in almost immediately. "I didn't want to wait," Annie said later. "I just felt in my heart that something was wrong." They rushed her to the hospital, where doctors confirmed that the baby had contracted RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, a common, but potentially serious, infection in infants. "She was so tiny," David recalled, choking up during an Instagram live. "And seeing her hooked up to those machines, you feel so helpless as a parent." For 7 nights and 8 days, David and Annie camped out at their baby's bedside. Annie barely left her daughter's side, while David made sure to update their followers every evening, sharing both their fears and their small victories. "Today she smiled a little," Annie posted one day. "She's a fighter. A bill, and a lesson." Finally, in mid-July, they received the good news they'd been praying for: Mintira was well enough to go home. The RSV infection had run its course, and she was on the mend. The relief was palpable, and the couple's Instagram page was flooded with supportive comments from fans around the world. But as they prepared to leave the hospital, there was one more hurdle to face: the bill. In a candid post, David shared a video of himself holding the final invoice. The total, over 130,000 Thai baht, roughly $4,040. That amount might not seem outrageous compared to American hospital costs, but David revealed that thanks to a private insurance policy he'd purchased in advance, they ended up paying just $37 out of pocket. That's not a typo, he laughed. $37. I've paid more than that for dinner back in the States. Annie chimed in, adding that during their week-long stay, she was amazed by the level of care, not just for Mintira, but for them as well. Nurses brought her hot tea and reassured her when she cried. David even got to enjoy affordable meals and, surprisingly, a massage service offered to parents staying long-term. It's just different here, Annie said. You don't feel like you're a burden. Everyone is so kind. A new perspective. In the days following their return home, David and Annie found themselves reflecting on more than just the daughter's health scare. The experience forced them to confront some difficult questions about where they wanted to raise their family, and whether returning to the United States was really in their best interest. For years, they'd talked about their love-hate relationship with life in America. David, in particular, was no stranger to financial struggles, having filed for bankruptcy before meeting Annie. In contrast, life in Thailand seemed simpler, more affordable, and, after their hospital experience, more secure. David shared his thoughts in a long Instagram post a few days later. This past week showed me what really matters. Family, health, and being in a place where you feel taken care of. Maybe it's time we think about making this move permanent. Annie, too, admitted she felt more at home than she had in years. Surrounded by her family, speaking her native language, and raising her daughter in the culture she grew up in, it all felt right. I think maybe this is where we belong now, she said softly during a Q&A with fans. Fans react. As always, the 90-Day Fiancé fanbase had plenty to say. Many praised the decision to prioritize their daughter's health and questioned why more Americans don't consider relocating for better health care and cost of living. You guys are so smart to have done this, one follower wrote. And seeing how happy you both are in Thailand, I think you've found your place. Others, however, expressed concern about the couple leaving their life in the United States behind. What about David's family? What about opportunities for Mintira in the future? One commenter asked. David was quick to respond, we're not closing any doors. But right now, we just want to be where we feel happiest and healthiest. Looking ahead, today, baby Mintira is home, healthy, and already growing into a bubbly, curious little girl. Annie continues to share glimpses of their family life on social media, feeding the baby mango puree, strolling through the neighborhood market, and laughing with her mother as they cook in the kitchen. David seems more at ease than ever, often posting photos of his morning coffee on their sunny balcony, or snapping pictures of Mintira sleeping peacefully in her crib. She's the best thing that ever happened to me, he writes often. Whether the Toborowskis eventually return to the United States or make Thailand their forever home remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, this experience has changed them. The fear of almost losing the daughter reminded them of what really matters, while the care they received opened their eyes to a new way of life. For now, they're content to enjoy the quiet moments, soaking up every smile, every giggle, and every sleepy snuggle with their little girl. A final message. In his most recent video, David sat on the porch holding Mintira in his lap as Annie filmed. He smiled at the camera and said, "If you take one thing from our story, let it be this: don't take your health, or your family, for granted. And wherever you are, find a place where you can live fully, not just survive. For us, that place might just be here." And with that, he kissed the top of his daughter's head and whispered, "Daddy's got you, always."